Hi, welcome to Marketplace. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. We seem to be a society obsessed with keeping our homes clean. We want our bathrooms and our kitchens hospital-grade disinfected. Cleaning products promise miracles, faster, easier, better results, less scrubbing. But could it be our clean freak streak is actually harming our kids? Here's Wendy Mesley with the story.
Sean Ellis is hunting for something. Something in this house that's invisible. In the air, maybe.
It could be the house, we're not sure.
Something that could explain why this family keeps getting sick.
In the past year, I found that I was getting really stuffed up and I developed bronchitis. It doesn't seem to be getting better. It just seems to be getting worse. So I want to try and find out what's going on.
Amanda Saul has severe respiratory problems. 5 weeks ago, she was rushed to the hospital because she couldn't breathe.
176 countries, including the United States, got together and they said there are 12 really bad organic chemicals. They're called POPs, persistent organic pollutants. There are a lot of them, but there are 12 that are so bad that nobody could disagree that those 12 POPs had to be banned worldwide. 9 of the 12 worst organic chemicals known are pesticides, not surprisingly, because they kill things. And of course, we have many processes and enzyme systems that are very much like insects and other pests, so they're not too good for us. But Codex has different ideas. Codex has brought back seven of the 9 forbidden POPs.
All household cleaners fall under the Hazardous Products Act, which is almost 40 years old. They're also regulated by something called the Consumer Chemicals and Containers Regulations. Labels are required to provide hazard symbols like poison and flammable, and they have to give information about first aid treatments for those ingredients. But there's no requirement to list other chemicals that could cause long-term health effects, and no warnings that say anything like may cause respiratory problems.
People assume that if it's on the shelf, it's been tested, it's safe. And you can't make that assumption all the time.
This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, and somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to 0. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to 0. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
While China has used the one-child policy, thus open legislation, and India has employed covert surgical sterilization, the West has resorted to covert chemical sterilization. Fluoridation is the West's method of choice for suppressing fertility in both men and women. It has been used throughout the West since 1950, and fluoride is delivered either through tap water, table salt, or milk, depending on the country and its level of development.
Respiratory illness is the leading cause of admission to hospital for children. Childhood asthma has jumped 400% over the last 20 years. And after injuries, cancer is now the leading cause of death among children aged 5 to 9.
You can always smell those cleaners, even though they're all tightly sealed.
Sure enough, everywhere the cleaning products are kept, the readings jump. We asked Sean to test 3 of the products we saw in the commercials. The average home normally reads about 50 parts per billion. Let's see what happens with the Pledge, 273 parts per billion. According to Sean, anything over 500 could be a problem for sensitive people. What about Clorox wipes?
So again, a simple wipe, and the levels jump up from the hundreds into the thousands here.
And finally, the Lysol disinfecting spray.
We're now in the parts per million as opposed to the parts per billion. So you're looking at about 12,000.
That's about 1,000 times higher than the Clorox.
How can we, as one of the most advanced countries in the world, allow these to enter our household for small children without the appropriate testing to see that it's safe?
It's a parent's job to keep them free from germs. So, say the ads, spray that change table with Lysol, clean that high chair with disinfecting wipes, and don't forget to mop those floors before putting baby down to play. Companies are protected by trade secrets. If you do find an ingredient, it's there because it could blow up or poison you. Many other chemicals are not even listed.
Go to Codex Alimentarius, do a Google search, and look, there are drop-down menus at the top of the official Codex page. Look at the toxins and the veterinary chemicals and the levels that are set. They are terrifying to me, terrifying. The names of the chemicals that are permitted and the amounts of the chemicals that are permitted are terrifying to me. Why am I terrified? Well, perhaps I'm just a cowardly person. It's possible. Think about this. In 2001, Codex, with no notice here in this country whatsoever, declared nutrients, put on your intellectual seatbelts, declared nutrients to be toxins. They're poisons. Nutrients under Codex not only are limited to those nutrients on the positive list, and we anticipate there will be 18 of them, and they do not include CoQ10, glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate. They do include fluoride, which, to my knowledge as a physician, has absolutely no biological benefit whatsoever. Now, I didn't make this up. Please, if you unfastened your intellectual seatbelts, put them back on again. If you do the numbers in the WHO FAO projections, the epidemiological projections, they estimate, not I, because what do I know? They estimate, they're the experts, that just the vitamin and mineral guideline alone, when it goes into global implementation on December 31st, 2009, will result in a minimum of 3 billion, that's B, bad, big, billion deaths. They will die from the preventable diseases of undernutrition. Cancer, the single most profitable condition ever known to humankind. Who will die? Who knows? Who will live? Probably those people who are wealthy enough and powerful enough to have their own pushers of clean food and nutrients.
So we went to see a chemist, Dr. Virginia Solaris. She's an indoor air quality expert. And we asked her, what's in some of these products being marketed to young families? Here's what Solaris discovered about denatured ethanol.
May cause irritation of eyes and mucous membranes, may cause central nervous system depression if inhaled or ingested.
There's also alkyl dimethyl benzyl ammonium chloride.
This is a class of compounds that act as a disinfectant or biocide.
Which means it's a pesticide. What about all the laundry detergents and fabric softeners? I think people assume that they're safe. Is there any cause for concern with chemicals in those?
You'd be amazed at the number of chemicals that are used in detergents.
The makers of Lysol, Clorox, and Pledge said they were unavailable for an interview, and so did their trade association.
Just doing a casual count, I noticed more than 10 different types of cleaners in your home.
Meanwhile, back at the Sols, Sean has just finished advising Amanda to cut back on some of her cleaning products.
I think I'm going to go through all of them and try and find one or two that will work. But also another way I might do it too is to try and see what natural products are out there.
If there's a demand for that, the industry will provide it.
Do not delay in making the switch from chemical-based products to all-natural organic-based products. These alternative products are not available in stores. Contact the person who shared this video with you or do your own due diligence to protect yourself from global depopulation methods.